You're listening to Head Vomit. The following episode contains crude, rude, and often offensive content that may feel dirty in your ears. If you're concerned about your ears, please choose carefully when and even if to listen. This podcast is ad-libbed. If you are seeking a libbed podcast, look elsewhere. The views expressed are not necessarily those of the creators. Tonight on Panorama, can wizardry go too far? We visit the Carlisle School that's been at the centre of a flurry of child abuse accusations. Our reporters went there and talked with a few of the victims.
After a long drive, I reached the murky mansion, mysteriously cloaked in fog. I'd been lucky enough to secure a few interviews with several students who were willing to speak to us about their experiences at the school. What you're about to hear may be disturbing to some listeners.
I came out of class and someone pushed me from behind and I landed on the floor, and that's the last thing I remember, really.
This is Peter.
I woke up in the infirmary and they said it was 6 months later, and they told me I'd been turned into a frog, but I couldn't remember on account of me only having a little frog brain.
So how did this happen?
It was a prank played by a couple of the second year students. You know, it's quite common for students to be turned into things here, obviously, what with all the wizardry going on and the like. But I just never pictured it had happened to me. I've always been bullied. I suppose I got the face for it. I wouldn't mind so much if it was just for a day or two, but I had people asking me where I was, you know, and my family didn't know where I was, and I was hopping around the grounds, and I suppose it wouldn't be so bad if I still didn't want to eat flies all the time.
Peter, were you ever touched inappropriately?
Well, I was handled a lot, I suppose. I mean, like I say, I don't remember anything, but I'm sorry, I get a bit emotional talking about it still. I feel like I want to rib it. Sally Smith, she told me that Jimmy kept me in his locker for about a week and he fed me stuff that no human would eat, but obviously I had no compunction about it because I was just a frog. Like I say, it wouldn't have been so bad if I was just a regular frog, you know? But I was a boy, trapped in a frog's body.
The more time I spent at the school, the more experiences I heard like this. I met Cheryl outside the woods, who gave us more insight.
I don't like coming here. It reminds me of the incident.
The incident? Please elaborate.
I'm a great maths student. I'm good at maths, you see, so I like to think of everything through a maths lens. I suppose the easiest way to describe it was I used to have 2 legs and now I have none.
Cheryl is in a wheelchair, speaking to me with 2 stubs. What she says seems bizarre, but I carried on listening.
Me and Bill and a couple of the other boys, we went into the forest and the trees were all there and stuff, and we started climbing them, and it was all right at the beginning, but then Bill, he cast a spell so that one of the trees came alive and it started getting all handsy, and it wrapped me up with its branches and it just squeezed me so tight that it cut the blood off my legs, and then by the time the boys got back, they were gone. The tree, it had eaten them, you see.
Wizardry schools across the UK are known for the occasional magical mishap. But at this school, things seemed extreme, like the kids were almost out of control. I thought it'd be interesting to interview a spellcaster.
I just wanted a bit of trim.
This is Gerald. Trim?
Oh, don't pretend like you don't know what that is. Or maybe you don't.
Gerald was from a wealthy family.
Well, listen, I'm not going to tell you exactly what I put in my potion. Let me just tell you that it was a love potion. Only I mixed it up really good, because I'm really bloody good at that sort of thing. And when this girl drank it, she started getting off with everyone. She was snogging me, she was snogging the class clown, she was snogging the frog boy. It was gross. And then when she started getting frisky with the janitor, people started getting up in arms like, you kissed an adult, you kissed an adult. And then she went outside and tongue-kissed a dragon. It was gross. It would all have been okay if she didn't do the last part, because it turns out dragons don't take too lightly to being kissed. I mean, how was I to know that my excellent potion would have such an excellent effect on her?
Janine was unavailable for comment as her ashes were scattered on Friday. These kind of pranks would be normal at a regular school, but this is a magic school, and surely the teachers must bear some responsibility.
Well, kids will be kids.
This is Rick Allenman.
Well, you see, the problem is that the headmaster didn't have a bloody clue what he was talking about. Senile old fool. It's one thing to teach a child how to morph a human being into a frog. It's completely something else to let that child run about as an amphibious creature for 6 months. I mean, what are the parents to think? But you know, there's no such thing as a free speech in a wizardry school. I was lambasted. I was kicked out of the Council of Wizards because I spoke up against it. I thought it's cruel and unusual punishment. I thought in any of the regular boys' schools they wouldn't allow it.
Rick Allenman had a lot of things to say, and I was intrigued to learn more.
Some of the stuff I've seen here is morally reprehensible. I mean, I could give you 100 examples, but I suppose I should just give you the worst. I mean, there was one chap here who had an awful feeling in his tummy. And I said, well, why don't you go run along now and go to the loo? So he went to the loo, and he came back, and you know what he told me? The strangest thing. He said, I've just passed the wind. And I said, well, you don't need to tell me that, young man. And he said, no, you don't understand. I have passed the wind. He'd had a spell cast on him called the Wind of Windermere. And you see, what this spell does, it puts all of the world's wind into one boy's rectum. You see, one doesn't just pass all of the wind in the world in one sitting. But this poor boy did. He shot out of the toilet seat, out of the window, across the grounds, shitting as he went. Out went his breakfast, out went his bowels, and he landed in a tree 15 miles away. Now, what am I to tell his parents? Oh, sorry, Jimmy's dead. He shit himself half a mile from the school. He returned next week into my class and said, I'm sorry, sir, but I've had the winds of Windermere in me. And I said, you've got to be joking. No one would dare cast that spell on a poor little boy. And he said, no, it's true, sir. You can follow my shit stream straight out of the second floor boy's window, all across the lake, all across the grounds, and I tell you, I can show you the exact tree I landed in. I said, good God, boy, I can't believe you're still alive. And he said, well, I had to stuff my guts back in from the wrong end, he said. But when I found out it was another teacher who did this to him, I said, that's too far.
Could you tell us the name of this teacher?
Yes, of course. The name was...
As he spoke this, he lifted into the air, gusts of strong wind bellowing from his anus. He flew through the air as far as I could see. He smashed through the window and out into the ground. With mischief afoot, I thought it important to try and find the man in charge.
Oh, yes, come in, boy. Take a seat over there, take a seat. Don't worry, they're quite regular seats.
I sit down. The headmaster, frail. I wonder, can he even make it to his seat? Does the headmaster have the energy to talk to me today? He slowly fondles his beard and looks like he's unplugging it.
Fuck you now. Right, enough of that nonsense.
You're the headmaster?
Yeah, that's me. Bit bloody windy today, isn't it? Anyway, what you,
The headmaster of this school?
Well, yeah, I mean, funny story actually. The geezer who I'm impersonating was the headmaster. But, he had to take a little trip, didn't he? So I took over. I actually came from the local wizards prison, actually. It's a work release program, and they said I'm supposed to just clean up the joint, but I found this guy dead in his office, and I thought, you know what? This is a good opportunity, this is. So I shaved his beard off very carefully, glued it together, stuck it to my face with these special pins. You wouldn't believe the shit I've seen around here, mate. This place is a fucking madhouse. It's worse than the fucking prison, you know what I mean? Like, prison don't hold a candle to what these fucking youngsters are up to. I try and discipline them, but what you gonna do? It's a fucking madhouse. I don't know what to do. I'm out of my depth, to be fair. But I can't just fucking admit to the wider wizarding community that I'm a fake, that I'm a fraud, or I'll go back to prison, you know what I mean? This is all off the record, innit? 'Cause, 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 'cause,
Last week, Scotland Yard shut the Carlisle school down for good. Its headmaster returned to prison. The teachers are under investigation, and the students placed into special care. We are just glad that this particular wizarding school will not be inflicting any more horrors on children for the foreseeable future. Good night.
Alright, wee lad, you had your free laugh, yeah, but before you fuck off, just remember, we've got to eat, you know. These voices don't power themselves, we need ready break and shit like that, so when you go and subscribe and give us a like and, you know, we haven't got any merch, but, you know, when we do get merch, go buy yourself a wee mug or something, buy your girlfriend a mug, your mother a mug. Thanks.